Hey, what's going on everybody? It's JONYFRAZE. Today we're going to take a look at some of the changes that we're making to the BnB Fightstick. Before we continue on, I do want to thank everybody that supported the BnB Fightstick, all the people who ever purchased one, all the people who ever modified one or did some art for one. We definitely want to give you guys a big thank you on behalf of myself and Focus Attack. Now, some of the changes that we made are the rounded edges around all the corners, as you can see right over here. We also updated the sides with a jigsaw pattern rather than the interlocking sides that we've had in the past. So nothing has really changed with the kits. You're going to get all 4 panels, top 2 supports in the bottom, your hardware pack with the standoffs and all the hardware needed to build this bad boy, and the sides. So we're going to start our build with the top support panel, and you'll see some of the changes that we made to make the top support panel a little bit better. First being is that there's 4 slots now that fit the brand new sides. You'll also see the Japanese mounting holes as well as the Korean mounting holes, as well as a universal 35.1mm hole for the joystick, so that could basically fit any lever. So we're going to install our joystick first, as well as the hardware for the PCB. From the hardware pack, you're going to need 4 of the bolts. You're also going to need 4 of the washers and 4 of the nuts. I like to stand the panel on its side, thread all the hardware through, and then you can simply slide in the joystick. So I would finger tighten all the bolts, and once you get it centered, that's when you can go ahead and lock it down with pliers and a screwdriver. Alright, before you put on the top panel, if you have one of the clear models, now's the time to sandwich your artwork right on there. Then you want to plop on the top panel. You're going to use the standoffs and the bolts that come associated with those, and stand it up on its side, thread the bolts through, and very loosely put on the standoff. Just like the original video, leaving them loose allows you to have a little bit of play when installing the sides. And don't worry, you're going to fully tighten them later once all the panels are installed. Alright, one of my favorite parts of the build, it's time to install buttons. We are still recommending to use screw-in buttons over the snap-in buttons. Snap-in buttons will work, but over time, as those tabs start to loosen up on the sides of those snap-ins, you may see them getting loose inside the BnB case. Alright, now all the buttons are installed and we can move on to populating all of the side panels. Go ahead and install all your 24mm auxiliary buttons as well as your USB port. You may also notice that we added 4 holes instead of the 2 holes for the USB port, so it's a little bit more universal. Alright, so the buttons are installed, the USB port is installed, and now we can move on to mounting the PCB and setting up all the wiring. Before you fully install the sides, we recommend plugging in all the auxiliary buttons before you start locking them in. So the new sides install really easily. You want to start with the long piece, drop it into the slots, then go ahead and basically just work it around. Start on the left side, you can angle it in to make sure the teeth line up, and then drop it right into the slot. Go ahead and do the other side, same thing, you can angle it in and drop it into the slot, just like that. And of course the bottom piece is a little bit tougher, but it's really not that bad. Start with the angle, lock it into the teeth, and you can pick up the other side, lock it in, and then just drop it down into the slots. Okay, so what really locks this whole thing down is the support panel. So you want to drop it down, gently find all the positions for the slots, just like that, and just make sure it's all lined up. And also, if you're going to put in artwork, now's the time to drop in your bottom facing artwork. Then we're going to wrap it all up by installing the bottom cover, taking the remainder of the bolts, thread them through the rubber feet and bolting them down. Remember, you don't have to over tighten them, just make sure that they're nice and snug. You could flip this bad boy over, and then that's where you're going to go ahead and tighten the top bolt, and you'll notice that they'll just lock right in. Since I have the JLF link, I'm going to drop that in, and that is going to complete my build. Alright guys, so this has been the overview for the V2 BnB, coming soon to Focus Attack with the updated shape, as well as the jigsaw sides to make it a lot easier to install. Once again, this is JONYFRAZE on behalf of myself and Focus Attack. Thanks again for the support, and we can't wait to see your finished builds. Peace.